Work, work, work. Make a little bit of money. Work, work, work. Now I can hire more people. Work, work, work. Wait, why am I still working 60 hours a week? Work, work, work. I thought building my agency was supposed to buy me freedom, and all I'm doing is just continuing to work in the business, and I feel like I'm not going anywhere. Most people, simply put, don't know how to get out of the day-to-day operations, and as a result, they end up working 60-hour weeks for years on end. And the hard truth is that you don't know how to automate your agency. You are stopping your business from growing. You are the bottleneck. That's why in this video, I'm gonna give you a step-by-step process to automate your entire creative agency so that you can take a few days off in Bali without having to worry about your business imploding. I build my process down to 8 simple steps that any agency owner can follow and instantly free up 10, 15, 20, 40 hours of your week. The first things that we need to do is we need to work on our offer. The questions that we want to ask as it pertains to our offer is my offer scalable? Is it delegatable? And is it profitable? In order to do this, like, you can't expect to automate your agency if you're a full service generalist or you're a glorified freelancer for a bunch of different businesses. How we always coach our agencies inside of Agency U is we want to have 3 different tiers of offers. First one is going to be the done with you. Not going to require a lot of your time, but it's going to be high leverage in order to be able to strategize with clients. And it's more of a consulting based offer that you can offer your clients in line with it, as well as some done for you elements, but mostly done with you. In this case, I'm going to keep this very high level, so don't take this as an actual offer. But let's just say one of the services is going to be like a strategy call, one time a month. We're going to do shoot 8 videos. We're going to edit 8 videos. We're going to post 8 videos. We're going to project manage. So now once we have the building blocks of our services, what we need to do is we need to figure out who is going to do this. Right now, if it's just you, that's okay if you're absolutely everybody. But on the next line, we're going to kind of break down what this could look like from a vision perspective. Let's just say John is going to do everything for now. Maybe we have an editor that's named Sally. So now what we need to do is we need to define each service. So let's just say this is going to be creative director. This is going to be videographer, editor, social media manager. Let's just say the creative director is going to be writing the captions. And let's just say we had a CSM doing the project management. Now what we need to do is we need to find how many hours each person is expected to spend on each one. Hour and a half of prep. Let's just say this is going to be 3 hours of shooting. Let's just say this is going to be 16 hours of editing. Let's just say this is going to take 2 hours. Let's just say this is going to take 1 hour and 1 hour for a room there. And then we have the hours. What are the expected time that each task is going to take? And this is super important. Don't just wing this. Don't just like put any numbers there, because these are going to be expectations as far as like who we're hiring, how much we're going to be paying people. Now it comes up to the hourly rate. So let's just say creative director, we're going to do $50 an hour. Let's just do the same for videographer. If we're going to contract a videographer or hire somebody full time. Editor, I'm going to find somebody overseas for $15 an hour. Posting, same thing. Creative director, $50 an hour. And project management, same thing overseas. Now what we have here is we have an offer that is delegatable, scalable, repeatable, and profitable. What this is giving us is how much does it cost me as a company to do this? How much should it cost the client if I want to make 66.66% margin? Cool, that's around $2,000. And how much profit I'm going to make? $1,200. What this tells us is it says, like, if I'm going to hire this team, how many clients could each person manage? What we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, 1, 2.5, 3 hours total. We could assume that they have 50 clients from a capacity perspective, and that's 3 hours divided by 160 hours a month, essentially, because 40 hours a week. Then if we go to videography, same thing, 3 hours, videographer equals 50 clients, 3 hours divided by 160. Then let's go to editor. It's going to take them 16 hours. That's going to give us 10 clients. And then social media manager and client success manager, probably going to make them the same role or same functionality because the hours are so limited. And we're going to say that's going to be 50 clients as well. After we dial in our offer, what we want to do is we want to create what's called a productized process. What I see oftentimes is people will just do stuff from the top of their head and they're not doing a good job of defining what they're actually doing. Your business has a way of doing things and it's up to you to create a repeatable process. When I look at things like McDonald's, In-N-Out, the reason that they're so successful and they've scaled so largely is because they've defined a process that they just rinse and repeat. They train people in and they get them in and they just follow the process that's been defined by McDonald's. So the McDonald's way, the In-N-Out way, what is your way of doing things at your business? Let's define that through our productized process. Using a table like this inside of Notion, we have onboarding, onboarding call, post onboarding call, pre-step 1, step 1, post step 1. So what we can do here, send client invoice. And then what we want to do is we want to open this up as a task. We want to assign it to a person. Let's just say this is going to be Austin. His role is going to be creative director. And then timeline, I want it to be within 24 hours. And then what we want to do in our productized process is we want to insert a Loom video in the description of what you mean when you say send client invoice, how exactly to do that. So what I would do is I would just log into Stripe. Okay, here's how you do it. Here's how you find how much we're billing them for. You want to do everything that you can to set somebody else for a win, because eventually when we hire somebody who's going to be doing this task, they're going to be following this step, and it's up to you to lay out exactly how they can have a ton of success with this specific task. We want to do that for every single step of the process. It's called productizing our process. We want everything to look beautiful, defined, and where this is going to live, it's going to live in your client hub. So every time you get a new client, we're just following this process for that specific client. Now, probably one of the most important things is finding people to work the productized process. And what this comes down to is creating a job description. This is the boring stuff that is going to set your business up for a win later down the road. Trust me on this. Here's what we use when it comes to a job description. We have a job overview, which is an overview of the position. Now we just need to define it in words. And this is where it gets good. We have the roles, responsibilities, and expectations. I see so many job descriptions that are just like, oh yeah, edit videos for us and send it to us and make it look cool and whatever. And it's like very vague, or it's not very pinpointed, and it actually isn't doing what a job description should do, which is define what success is for that person. Roles. What is the role? Let's just say you're hiring a video editor. Role number 1 is going to be video editing. Role number 2 is going to be project management. Role number 3 is going to be creativity. That's the pillar. Those are the roles of the person that you're going to be hiring. And then it becomes responsibilities. What are the responsibilities for video editing? What are the responsibilities for project management? What are the responsibilities for creativity? That's defining what exactly they're going to be doing as it pertains to that. Then the third layer is going to be expectations. So smart expectations per role. So smart expectations means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. These are the types of expectations that you need to lay out that are going to set up your team for success. And the good news is if you've created the offer, if you've created the productized process, this shouldn't be that hard to create because you've already defined what exactly they're going to be doing. Then at the end, you want to define the internal meeting cadences. As an orchestrator in your business, your job is, how do I set my team up for success? How do I set them up to do things the way that I've been doing them? How do I scale my creativity? How do I give them tools and resources to not fail as an employee of our company and doing the work for us? That leads me to step number 4, which is going to be creating project management systems for each role. For this example, I'm going to show you how you can manage projects when it comes to video editing. You as a owner or the client success manager could basically go in here. They could fill this out for every single video that you're making. They could say 3 tips for XYZ. Here's the raw files. Editor's gonna be Austin, videographer's gonna be Austin. I want them to edit it, let's call it on the 12th. I'm gonna have it be due on the 16th, and then I'm gonna fill out the rest from the client perspective. So now what we're doing is we're starting to assign videos to the editor. Now what you can do as an owner, as an orchestrator, is if you're ever wondering what's the status of this project, you just check this board. Editor, what do I need to do today? They just check this board. Client success manager, how's the status on these videos? They just check this board. It's all in one place and there's not a bunch of communication. You're not hounding somebody on it. Something like this allows you to see the due dates of an editor. You can see the edit schedule of an editor. You can easily move stuff around for the editor. You can even create like a board view of videos that are ready to edit. And if you don't have everything housed in one place like that, you're going to be really disorganized, and there's going to be so many bottlenecks that you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be confused, and ultimately the client's going to be set up for an L because likely projects are going to be late. We need to figure out, okay, what in our offer do we need to create a system around that we can then delegate to somebody so you're not the bottleneck and the system is being worked. People are going to work the system. One of my favorite quotes is that systems run the business and people run the systems. You need to create the systems as an orchestrator that people can work. That is your task. After we create the project management boards, now what's paramount to do is to create SOPs. An SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedure. And a Standard Operating Procedure is essentially explainer. It's an instructional video on how to do the thing that is laid out for the employee that you're hiring. We want to start creating what's called an SOP library. Our offer is pretty simple. It's going to be 3 different roles. We need to start defining the SOPs for each role. For this example, you can use Notion, where basically you have the SOP title, you have the role for the SOP, date created, when it was last updated, who created it, objective, and then you have a Loom video explaining exactly what they need to be doing as it pertains to the task. And then you can even add in like step-by-step instructions down below and then revision history down below. After we've created the SOP libraries, what we need to do now is create an end of day form for each role. For the employee, it's going to hold them accountable. It's going to allow them to know what metrics that they need to be tracking and what their KPIs are. And for you as an orchestrator, it's going to allow you to start to see how the team member is doing according to the KPIs laid out in the job description that we already created. It's going to allow you to have a success indicator. That would just go to forms.google.com. And then if you just create a new form, then you can start to fill out your EOD. For an example of an EOD form for like video editor, you could do like, okay, who is the name? How many first drafts were completed, edited today? List the clients they've completed the edits for. How many revisions were completed today? List the clients you completed revisions for. Anything else we should know? Something simple, because the KPIs will be lined up with the SMART expectations that you had for the job descriptions. Basically, all you need to do is you need to go back to your SMART expectations, create the KPIs based off the SMART expectations, plug them into EOD form, and that's pretty much the tracking mechanism. We have everything that we need in order to automate and hire people, plug people in. Now it becomes the best part of buying back your time, and that's hiring people. But we want to hire effectively. And the best way to do it that we found is what's called a talent acquisition funnel. Hiring can be literally a make or break for your agency. When we're hiring people, especially in the creative space, we are hiring people to do creative work. Each defines creativity a little bit different. We want to make sure that we're finding the right candidates that are speaking the same language as us, and we need a lot of candidates to sort through in order to find the one. First things first is we want to create a job posting based on the job descriptions, really descriptive on what we're expecting them to actually do. Then we need to create what's called a talent acquisition form, which essentially is a layer to actually booking an interview. The worst thing that you can do is like sit through and like look through resumes and you're like, oh my gosh, this is such a drag. This is a nightmare. That's what we don't want to do. Then when we post the job, we want to add a link to the talent acquisition form. What we want to do on the bottom of the job description is, to be considered for this role, you must follow these directions. Fill out this application form. And that allows you to have the layer so you're not sorting through hundreds of resumes. Then all you need to do is you need to filter through the application forms and you need to figure out who's actually worth getting on an interview with. And then you just interview the top candidates. And after you've interviewed the top candidates, you do a round of test work. And then for the person that is the right candidate, essentially, you brand the first month of working with you as a 30-day trial. Now, the last thing, and probably the most important thing as a business owner, as an orchestrator, if you really want to become a true CEO at your company, is you need to create other leaders. The video editor that you're hiring as an editor to edit for those videos, could they become a senior video editor, and could they hire other editors underneath them? The videographer that you're hiring, could they become a creative director? That's up to you to feed into them, to build into them, to disciple them, to create leaders with them, to train them, to mentor them, to build them up. This is the 8th step, and something that I'm constantly saying to people that are wanting to grow and automate their agency and work themselves out of it, is you need to create other leaders. You need to remove yourself as the bottleneck, and it becomes the mechanism of just constantly replacing yourself. What are you doing that you can replace yourself with that you could delegate to somebody else, and then build somebody else be more of the operator role? Of course, you can take the information in this video and try automating your agency by yourself, but there are a ton of nuances when it comes to automating your agency, such as creating the SOPs, making sure you have the right offers that are actually going to scale, talk to the pain points, and is actually something that people want. And then on top of it, making sure you have enough business so that you can support a team that's actually going to fulfill everything for you. If you're serious about not just taking yourself out of the day-to-day operations, but also scaling your creative agency from $10,000 to $20,000 a month to $50,000 to $100,000 per month, by going from being an operator working in your business all day, potentially feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you're on that hamster wheel, to the orchestrator working on the business, hiring operators, systematizing your business, and actually becoming a CEO and doing more things that you enjoy, then I would highly suggest booking a call with us to talk about Agency U. Everything that I went over is literally copy and pasted inside of Agency U. It's already all filled out, the talent acquisition, the SOPs for every single role that we actually even went over. In addition, I'll personally work with you one-to-one, and I'll personally help you craft the offer, create the productized process, hire the right talent, create the right systems, and put them in place. So if that sounds like you, click the link down below, book a call with me, and let's chat about Agency U and get to scaling. Also, you can click on this video right here if you want to learn how I use this blueprint to remove myself from my entire business in just 7 days. And if you like the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you are a creative agency and you want to grow and scale, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.